Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my glass studio. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this fun sea turtle. He's got kind of a unique shape. He's kind of big. He's 8 inches across and probably close to 10 inches in length. And I'm going to make him, because he's so 3D and so, has all these appendages, I'm going to show you a new and different way to construct something like this where you still have 2 layers so you have that nice, strong, durable, finished project. So we're going to start by cutting a clear layer for this whole thing. And what I'm going to do is there's 2 shapes here for the, the turtle shell. Thank you, Nikki. And so I'm going to do this inside shape. I'm going to do the base layer with clear glass. I'm going to do the inside circle at a clear. And then I'm going to bring these legs up and inside there. So the legs will be a little bigger than they appear here. So they'll tuck underneath. And then we're going to use this beautiful green color for the seashell, the shell on the turtle. And that we're going to cut to this line so it's a little bit bigger. That way these clear pieces are tucked underneath. Then when we cut the limbs, the fins, arms, legs, head and tail out of this material, which don't you think that's a beautiful combination? These will go up against the green and it creates a nice strong project because the way the layers, instead of the layers being butted up like this, they're butted up like this, one over the other, which makes it a little bit stronger and a little more, a little easier to put together. Now this type of thing, because it's laid out that way, once we get all the glass cut, we're going to lay it out on a kiln shelf here on the table, move that shelf into the kiln so we can transport it. Your other option is to reassemble it inside the kiln after you've cut it and have all your pieces ready to go. So we're going to start by seeing which of these pieces of clear scrap are going to work for that shell. And I guess I'm going to have to use this one right here. I'm going to turn this a little bit, make it more convenient to cut. I'm probably going to need a dustpan and broom for this. So I'm going to go over here and grab one. All right. And so this one we're making the smaller size. Do you hear that? That beautiful sound? That's the sound of the cutter when it's gliding smoothly over the glass. So when you're cutting, you want to hear it, but it shouldn't be a grinding sound. It should be a nice, calling it sing. Your cutter should sing. All right, look at that fun piece right there. Now get a little tap. Check that out, right? Now go this way. So the fewer cuts you make on this, oh, there we go, the less little appendages you'll have. See, I've got wherever the intersection, the score lines intersect, I have these little bumps. So if you can cut something like this out with fewer scores, you'll have less cleanup. And I'm going to make an effort to not even grind this project. Just put it together without grinding. All right, so now we've got this wonderful piece of clear on the inside shape. That's great. Now let's see if any of these scrap pieces work for the head or tail or any of these appendages. This one, let's see, not that one, not that one. This could potentially, yep, this could work for this foot here. Now, when I cut this, I want to cut it to the inside. Actually, I'm not loving the way that's fitting, so I'm not going to use that. Go over here and see how we can get this one to fit. All right, that looks pretty good right there, and I think I can get a second leg out of this. And I'm cutting this to that inside line. So go straight, then I'll do my curve. Curve here. So here where I had that inside curve, I'm going to do it in two steps. Let's do this outside one first. There we are. You tap it underneath with your pliers. Kind of gives it a little bit of incentive to come out. Now take these pliers and pull this out. Now this one is a little deeper and it didn't want to come out immediately, so I'm going to add another score line there to give it a little more incentive. There we go. Now it's a little easier. Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, now we'll compare it to the pattern. And there's a little bump right here. I'm going to take that off. And it looks great. Okay, so we got a leg and a shell. Let's see, this is a nice big piece, so I'm going to see which of these two works better on because these two fins are bigger than that fin. Okay, I think it'll work well on there. All right, now remember cutting to the inside line. I'm going to rotate the pattern, make it easier to cut. I'm going to just go ahead and put 2 score lines on this inside curve this time, just to help ensure it comes out nicely. There we go. Okay, we'll go ahead and break this off, And now we'll use the grozers to, these are nice and springy. Pull that out. I'll use it to clean up those edges and take a little bit of that sharpness off. I'm just dragging, this part of the plier has a ridges on it, so I'm just dragging that along the glass to soften those edges a little bit. Let's compare that, and I think that looks great. All right, we got another leg. There we go, building this little guy one piece at a time. And I'll go ahead and trim that off. All right, so I've got another piece of clear here. I'll lay out this. This fin is pretty good size, so we can do that fin next. There we go. It moved a little bit on me, so I'm going to readjust there. Okay. Okay, we'll pull these pieces out. The deeper the curve, the more score lines you want to put in there, and you'll have better success getting those shapes out. Look, that came out nicely. Oh, yeah, guess what? You know why it doesn't look so great there? Because that's not the spot it goes. It goes over here. There we go. Okay, got another leg. Put that here. All right, now we can cut this last leg. See, it's nice laying it out here on the table because you can, you know what you've already done. Let's see if I cut this like this. Go straight, and then do some of those curves on the inside. There we are. Oh, I have the glass upside down. It won't break the score unless the pliers can come in contact with that score. So gotta make sure you have the glass going the right way. There we go. Another little leg. Oh, it's got a little bump here, so it's not fitting great. Yep, there we go. All right, we can use one of these scraps for the tail. There we go. So in making this piece, I was thinking, I like that. Put that right there. All right, now we'll cut the head. I was thinking about doing, instead of having, we're going to have this pretty green for the shell, but I want to do some patterns on that to make it more interesting. You know, all the time you see these beautiful sea turtle designs and they have flowers on them, or, you know, patterns and things that make them not, yes, obviously it's a turtle, but it makes it a little even more decorative, or stylized is probably a good word. So I think we're going to do a little bit of that on this guy. All right, place this where I get the best cut here, which I really don't like that. So let's just take that off. There we go, I like that better. So when you're cutting something like this, if you have a more space between the line and the glass, you get a better break. If you have it really tight, you tend to have more cleanup in that area. So by giving myself a little space, it seems like I'm wasting glass, but in reality, I'm just making the piece come out better, and in that sense, not wasting glass. Remember, I'm going for this inside line. Isn't that a fun sound too? And I got a little bit of a point here. Take that off. All right, I'll take a little bit more off there. And now we have a head. Look at that, that's so fun, right? Now for the colorful part. Let me sweep up this clear. These pieces I'm gonna put in the bin. The other pieces I'm gonna put in the scratch. So we've selected this green for the turtle's shell. And it's so pretty, I can't decide where to work from. Look at this, wonderful. The white and the green, the dark green, it's just a nice mix of colors. So I guess it really doesn't matter where we pick because it's all beautiful. So we went ahead and cut up the pattern. So we have the pattern on the bottom, and then we cut these pieces to use them for the top layer because the top layer is opal glass and I can't see through it to cut like I did on the clear. So we'll put it aside here. We're going to keep those appendages in the correct orientation. I'm going to lay this out on this glass so that the grain runs with my turtle's shell. And put some glue on there. Lay that out. Actually, maybe I lay it out this way. I save glass. That way a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go as close to that paper as I can without running into it. Oh boy. Should have brought it a little closer to myself. I'm getting as close to the paper as I can without going into it is the idea. All right, so I'm going to do this score first because it breaks it away from the rest of the glass. And that way, once it's separate, hopefully I don't have to worry about the rest of the glass breaking. So there we go. Worked out well. Using the grozers to take off those little points and to clean up the edge a little bit. There we go. Looks pretty good. All right, we'll put that aside. And we have decided to do the rest of the turtle out of this color. All right, my dustpan ended up down there. Just cleaning up between the clear and the green. All right, there we go. So now we'll take, we have a head. 1, 2 legs, 3 legs. And I think I like the head right there, that leg there, and then the tail. So I'm laying these out in such a way that you know, I can try to get the most out of the glass, and also so that they run kind of in this direction with the grain, you know, lengthwise. I put on enough glue just to make the paper stationary, not so much that it's a problem to get the paper off. But if you decide you want to grind these, when you grind, the water from the grinder will loosen that glue really nicely for you. Also, one advantage to working with paper pattern is you can get a better sense of placement so you can save more material. Oh, stuck to my finger, there we go. You know, by kind of nesting the pieces close to each other. I think I like this going that way. There we go. I turned this around because it had darker color on this end. I thought that would be nice. Pull this up a little bit. I'll make it a little easier to get through here. There we go. Now I'll separate these from each other. So these first cuts are to separate the pieces from each other. Then I'll go back and do the detail work, because once you start doing the detail work is when you're going to have breakage, if you're going to have it. All right, so getting in here as close as paper as we can. And peel this off. There we go, look how nicely that's working. I'm using the paper as a guide to trim those pieces. Got another piece of glass stuck to me. Okay, there we go. Got our first tin. So we continue to cut the rest of the pieces. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the paper off so we have the shell. Now, the glue's been sitting here for a little while, so that's why it's kind of getting really stuck on there. Pull that off. I'm not going to use this again, so just discard that. It's going to stick to my finger. I'll take these other pieces off kind of quickly so the glue doesn't have a chance to stick on here. There we go. And that's why you want to use enough glue to get the paper to stick, but not so much that you have trouble getting it off. Now, if you do have trouble getting it off, you could grind the glass and the water from the grinder will loosen the glue. Another option is you can just dunk these in a bucket of water for a minute and the paper will slide right off after a very short amount of time. But I'm just going to peel it off. And Nikki helped me cut these out and they came out so great that I'm not even going to grind these. What I am going to do though is take this wet sponge and make sure, oh look, there was some marker on the back of that one we weren't aware of, so it's a good thing I'm cleaning this off. Take a wet sponge and a towel and dry these pieces off. There we go. This one has quite a bit of glue on it. Get a lot of moisture on there. Use the scrubby side of the sponge. Make sure we get the back side too. And look, the back side has so much pretty texture and color. Oh, I just love it. I wonder if it'll fit this way, and then maybe we could benefit from that texture and color. And I think it works okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn it over. I'll wash these. And you could glue this together. See how the clear one goes underneath the green? That's what we wanted to do. And then these other pieces go up to the green. And that way we have a nice strong assembly method. Look how pretty this is. Ooh, I love it. We actually have quite a few sea turtles here where we live. And sometimes when we go out on the water, we see one and it's like, oh, such a treat. Because they pop up, they're there for a second, you get that wonderful sighting, and then boom, they're gone. We're going to build this on a kiln shelf, and so that I can move it to the kiln easier after I put all my decorations on there. So something that makes picking up your kiln shelf real easy so you don't disturb your project is to lay out some small kiln posts or maybe some lids from jars of frit or little cups or anything, even just pieces of glass. And then you put your kiln shelf on top of it. And then when you want to lift it up to put in the kiln, it's really easy to lift up without having to, tilt it so you can get the project to the kiln without disturbing it. And I got kiln wash on my hands, so I'm going to wipe it on my clothes, of course, because isn't that what you always do? And now I've hidden the turtle's tail. So let's get his tail out of there. And his legs. I'm going to put those on first. There we go. You want to try to avoid sliding anything on the shelf because you could get I'll use this instead of my clothes. You could get kiln shelf primer between layers. So once you have your project there, try not to slide it. And I should refer to the pattern because the legs weren't necessarily symmetrically placed. This leg is up a little bit. Kind of like he's crawling. The tail is, I put it off to the side because it seemed to fit better instead of right on the tip. Although, maybe I'll put it right there. There we go. And now this arm is over here. The head's up here, a little off to one side. And this arm's up here, a little higher than this one over here. Now, I'm really pleased with that. You want to make sure your project's about a ½ inch away from the kiln shelf to make sure that it doesn't fall off and roll over there. So I could slide it down, but then again, I don't want to slide it because I don't want to risk getting any of that kiln wash in between my layers. Now I'm going to take some of these Murini. Murini are glass rods with a decoration, a design inside. Here's some different pieces here, some yellow and some kind of a sherbety color here. And in order to use them, you take your mosaic nippers. Now these mosaic nippers have a little bump here that raises them off the table. So you put this on the table, put your nippers on the table, and gently squeeze. You'll get uniform sizes and thicknesses. So, like, see this one? I don't know if you can tell. This one's taller than this one. And what happens when these two melt, this one's going to take up more room than this one because it's taller. So by having uniform sizes, your decoration will be a little more uniform. And that's kind of nice. Plus, it's real easy to cut that way. And they're not, you know, when you cut them into a container, they tend to fly all over the table. Here, they stay right there. So it makes it a lot easier. So let's pick out 2 of these cute ones for eyes for our turtle. Look at him, he's so smart. You can see. All right, and then we're gonna do some decorations. Like, we've got these wonderful fire sticks. Let's pull some of those out. Look at these nice colors. Ooh, I like this purple one. Put that on there. I like this green one. Yeah, let's put that there. Fun, right? And then let's see, what color is this one? Kind of a copper color. There's more of the green. And you know, these don't have to, these could extend over onto the body and onto the legs too. If they don't just have to be on the shell. Ooh, I like that purpley one. Maybe we break this one in 2 and put it on the legs. These back legs, that's fun. And they don't have to be symmetrical. We're just having fun. Let's put this one here. Cool, right? Now, because it's decorative, I'm going to avoid using glue on it because glue will disturb the surface and I don't want that to happen. And then let's take some of these Urini here and make a little design. Like a little half circle. Here. That's fun, and maybe like a blue one in the middle. And then maybe do some white ones up here. And go down the fin, arm, whatever we call it, I don't know. Tweezers would be sometimes helpful using these. Let's just keep going with that little design there. So I'm kind of just doing, you know, a nice, fun, kind of random thing here. And maybe this white continues a little bit here, visually. And then we have one here. That one's a little taller. That one's a lot taller. Take that one off, put this one on. And go here. What I'm trying to do is we're creating a recognizable subject matter and I'm trying to give it a pattern that just makes it fun. And, you know, kind of something you might want to explore more because visually it has these different details going on. We could give him a little mustache. What do you think? Does it look like he's angry if we do it like that? Does he look angry, Nikki? Does he? There, I could give him a little mouth. Oh. Okay, I'm telling you, tweezers would really be helpful right now. All right, come on. Yeah. Is he silly looking?
Yeah.
Okay, do we like it though?
He's got a unibrow.
Well, should we leave it or no?
Yeah.
Is it weird? Okay. All right, she says yes. Oh, look at this
Maybe
pretty.
just a little bit.
Well, there we go. That's all I need. All right. Got this pretty purple.
I'm giving him hair.
No, I'm trying to give it a little shadow to one side, but I don't know if it's reading that way. I like this purple one, so I'm going to go ahead and put it over here. Kind of bridge it. And then we've got these pretty red ones, so let's do something with that. Yeah, let's do something over here with the red. Make another little half circle. Or a line. We could make a line with these. But I kind of like the curve of this. So let's go ahead and make this into a little bit of a curve also. And we'll do a black center on that one. And I like the black there. Now, if you use a color in one place, you want to use it at least 2 other places. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one here. And maybe This one here. I've got some green. I don't know how well that's going to show up on the green, so I'll keep that here on the orange color. That's all I have for green right now. There we go. I guess I could cut more. I got another yellow one, so we might as well make this, extend this over here, so now we have a little S shape. Fun, fun. Or I could do this, bring it out, and continue on with that curve. Yeah, that looks fun. Okay. All right, so now what else do we have here? What other fun things do we have? We have dichroic frit. I have this piece here. I don't know where that fits in. Maybe it fits right there. I don't know how it kind of goes in, but what the heck? We're just having a good time. I have blue frit. Red, is this red or orange? This is rainbow dichroic. I don't know about that, but we're going to use it. Okay. Woo, hello. Oh, isn't that pretty? I better put the lid on that before I spill more. Now I'm going to take a dry brush. I'm going to try to give that frit a little bit of purpose. Not just be kind of random. So I'll give it kind of a wave to it. And we're going to try to get these pieces that fell off and put them back on. Because as you know, frit is like, well, it's a hot commodity. If we're going to use it, we want to use it on the glass, not on the table.
Frit.
Yeah, heck yeah, we want to use it. We got that stuff out. We want to make sure it's on our project. So let's get it on there. Do you think we should keep the unibrow? Okay, she says yes. I'll put this little detail over here. Maybe these are like little scales. Yeah, that's what those are. They're little scales. All right, so I think I'll bring this stuff over to keep it kind of concentrated. It almost looks like little fish eggs, you know, caviar on here. Boy, I hope these show up with this color, because if it's a transparent, it might kind of disappear. All right, what else can we put on here? What do you think, Nick? Do you want to do some blue murini? Let's do some over here. Oh, now look, it's an extension of the red. That's kind of fun. And it looks like I have two different colors going on here. I have a darker color and a lighter color. Let's use the darker one. Okay, there we go. Move this little guy around. Okay, so I'm still playing with the frit because I just love the way this is coming out. All right, so we've decided I have green frit, which I'm concerned will just disappear into the shell. We have blue frit, which I also fear will disappear into the shell. We have clear dichroic frit, which will show up nicely. So let's use some of that. It won't show the color, but it'll create some flash, which is fun. Then we'll kind of do this in sort of an arch here, an arc kind of design. All right, here we go. And now Nikki suggested we use the black frit. So it's dichroic on black. Now this, the trick to it is we want the coating up, otherwise I'm not going to see it. So I think what I'm going to do is pour some into a cup. I'm sorry, into a spoon. And I'm going to sort of hand place it. Oh, try to hand place it with the coating up so we get to see it. Oh, yeah, that one doesn't want to cooperate. Oh, there it goes. It fell in the right spot. Well, it fell exactly where it wanted to, so that's okay. Now, if they're sitting on the side, that's okay. you just want to make sure that the coating is visible now, so it'll be visible after it's fired. See that one, the coating's not visible. There we go. Okay, I'm grabbing my tweezers. Here we go. Okay. I threatened grabbing them all day, and now I'm actually going to do it. You know, when we set up for the video and we have a certain idea of what we want to do, but we don't always know what we're going to need until we're here in the meat of it. Look how pretty that's turning out. I don't know how much that, but I knocked that over. All right, so let's do something similar down here on this one, so that your eye goes like that, hopefully. Oops. Well, it landed where it was supposed to, but it knocked a different one off. Oop. Let's do it again. There we go. Okay, I've got the coating up. We want you right there. And I want this other one right here. Okay, that one's a little bigger, so I'm going to move this one down. Oh, man. Okay. We got this, we got this. Hold on. All right, we got it. Oh, it does. Okay, there it is. Patience. This is where you have to have patience. And be determined and stubborn. I got all of those. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to put something on the tail. This little thing is going on the tail. Just because. It's going to go on this way. All right, there we go. All right. So the black does that. Maybe we want a few more pieces right here to visually connect them. Here we go. I'll turn that one over, try to get the coating up. Here's a nice pretty gold one. That one right there, and one more right here. Okay. Do we think this leg needs anything, or are we done? All right, we have a couple extra here. Let's go ahead and put them up on this leg. Okay. There we go. I can't figure out where the top of this one is, so I'll just put it on randomly, and hopefully it shows up. All right, this one I got to turn over. All right, there we go. Oh man, fell over. Come on now. Okay, calling it done. Done, done, done. We're gonna go ahead and place this in the kiln, fire it to a full fuse temperature, and then I may or may not slump it. I haven't decided yet. I just want to see what it looks like. And before I do that, I think I want a little more clear frit over here. That'll be kind of what visually ties the whole thing together, I hope. Oops, okay. We're going to need the tweezers again to get that back where it's supposed to be. Because again, we want it on the glass. Okay, I think it looks good. I'm putting the tweezers down, adjusting it a little bit. I'm going to move it to the kiln and fire it. Call it done. Welcome back to the studio. So I fired our Sassy sea turtle to a full fuse temperature. Then I took it out of the kiln. I put it back in the kiln in a mold. I thought, first I debated leaving it flat. So I thought, well, maybe I give it a little bit of curvature. Then I did something out of the ordinary that I'm really excited to share with you. So let's check this out. Look at that. I slumped the sea turtle upside down in a square mold. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. I haven't made this pattern before. I wasn't sure how that was going to affect the glass. Now you tend to get a little bit of texture on the glass because it's in contact with the mold. Right here there's a little bit of texture. So that's why you want your slumping temperature to be enough to give you curvature, but not enough to pick up the pattern from the mold. Right here I've got a little bit of texture. Right here a little bit of texture. Some of this white stuff is just kiln wash from the mold. But check that out. Isn't he so cute? I love the three-dimensional shape of him. And, you know, before I thought, well, maybe I'd hang him, you know, in a window. Now he's a beautiful little project that you can just put on the table. Let me move this that way. And check that out. Look how cool. He sits, his little head hangs down. He's touching on 3 of his 4 feet plus his head. This 1 foot doesn't touch, but that's okay. I think that's absolutely fine. So, very sparkly, a lot of fun stuff going on there. I really like the way some of those transparent dichroic colors that they picked up the green in in the shell, and they really kind of enhanced that. I also like the way the fins, arms, legs, whatever you call them, they kind of went peach, a little bit peachier than I thought the glass actually was, which I'm not opposed to that. I think that's awesome too. Love it when glass gives you a surprise that you weren't anticipating, and it adds to the aesthetic and the overall pleasing visual of the artwork. So I think we have a terrific success here. So keep in mind, you could take other projects and slump them in such a way that they're freestanding pieces of art. That's really cool, and it makes them really nice. This could be something you put on a table. You could put it on a counter. You could put it outside in your garden. That would be really lovely too. You could mount it, you know, put a little hook on it and mount it on a wall, like a little 3D kind of creature climbing up the wall. A lot of different options, really a lot of fun. So you can get this pattern for free on my website. So go check it out, download it, and make one for yourself. And then send us some pictures. We would love to see it. Thanks so much for joining us here today. I love when you comment, you share, you know, all those things. We love that. It shows us that you're paying attention, that you're enjoying the content we're putting out there, and we are certainly paying attention to you and enjoying the content that we're putting out. So thank you for your feedback. Also, become a premium video member. We'd love to have you. Have new courses coming out all the time. Full-length, step-by-step video instruction with a printable pattern ebook. You're going to love it. There's over 35 different projects right now, project courses. The second you become a member, you have access to all of them. So become a premium video member today. We would love to have you. And until next time, happy fusing.